Maybe other questions? Yeah.
Okay, our next item for discussion is economic. Talking about this for some time. Considerable change. I'm going to try to get it right.
See how to provide guide. So, chapter one. Of the 10 years. On page. Of policy. Condition. Authorizing. Consider. I took a look at these. I got it. Rationale behind. One thing that was not. I don't think we had direction on that. That was kind of my only question. This is what it is, shutting the door. Just taking to part of the question. And again, it's up to the board. Numbers came from. I thought they looked good, my. Thinking into work. Just did some. Really. I mean, the one thing I would suggest is. Everything. Or really just the last one. Yes. But it is such a value. Offering. Yeah. Yeah, I can. Get an offer. By the way. Version. It's good.
I think public infrastructure of great value. Eventually, versus just. I don't know. Dollar amount.
Yeah, when I read that necessary train to extort. It's something that it's the kickstart on Square. Interesting. I think that's a fact. That seems like it brings some, it's guidance and ending it.
I mean, I think just probably. Added to the. My only concern. Maybe it's. So, wait a minute. Because to your point, not necessarily. What if this follows it? I mean. And all of a sudden. I generally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you, when you talk about the thing, basically either what was previously.
I think that's supposed to be.
Yes. Yeah, so I think the first three together. Solid guys. Have, one person shot the country. That one job. I would definitely be, they would saying, two and. What was. Sexual reason.
Constitution. Combination of things. Are all three?
And then. Also. We're doing 49 and we're doing.
I said you can.
And that's, see, that's some of the reason why. I like the big.
Fun gets to that point. And I don't know what. I certainly think.
if the intent is to say that four is the one that say, move that to one.
Yeah.
Say one and
One ABC or.
almost.
One, two and three together.
Or
Or
you
it's
said
a
we
low,
wanna have
all of three together.
Okay,
Or,
okay.
or four.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's right. So it'd be one.
We amend that.
Certainly can.
Happy with it, I'll just.
Having a hard time. Facility. How does apps?
I think there, if it's a, retail.
Not that I'm against you. No.
Um,
Would it be better?
I think you render it. Any new.
I think people also put a job requirement. That. 50 jobs. But if it's a retail establishment, it's really not doing. Other than if they. That's what board.
Doing some. Make the. Actually. Everything. I can say that. I can read. Here's what I. One. Says demonstrates the following.
I think the jobs.
So what I've done.
We have to approve the amendment.
Right.
I will make a motion that comes up, like to split the names out in the resolution for the CID. Like to split the two individuals, individually on them.
What's the? That's. Split those out.
You can split it. Well, it would be a motion to. Second solution, but you can still vote. Right, so this is what. Very important district. There will be two of the five members. The budgets. Financing in the district. You don't have any.
I'd like to make a motion to split two names out. Separately. Guys,
we all know from. It doesn't. Not saying. I'd like to discuss. The records destruction. That, time. Documents. A lot of times it's saying. They're going to. Doesn't look at. You give yourself a feeling of being infallible. I mean,
Just for. Nobody.
yeah, Yeah. No, I did it. I was looking, because I was looking it up, because I was really shocked. How short time bank statements. correctly. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's a policy that not like don't have space here. Why you would go. Yeah, I understand. Very policy, maybe it's. What they look at it. I would never tell. Like, and the idea of, well, is it a common in there? Or keeping education. Is that safe? And I think it's, and lack of substance. Isn't. I'm doing it. I don't have the right. I'm not gonna be like, that mark. Yeah, this is just a very questionable topic. Well, typically. But they are. Everlasting. Buying vehicles. That should almost be nothing. Not depends. Invoice and stuff. Not making. If it's a invoice with the. Invoice. There's something. Then not to have it, detriment. I don't see an advantage other than. Alcohol shredding. Anytime that people. Have a. For a good period. I've been in. Think about it. An audit is not giving you. Audit is. As an audit, not looking at. Just something to consider.
It's also. All through. Taxes.
Their depreciation schedule isn't substantial. Honestly, just. That would be. Here's my Excel schedule, or here's. In a depreciation. I would be like, virtually. A lot of time. But that to maybe, maybe it's gonna. Over this section. Saying, yeah, get rid of the position. And you just see.
This is an. Presentation. It's to slash. This isn't even. This is just a notation.
Last time we just sort of.
I think it's great. It was good.
I don't think. Yeah, I was really. A audit that's done by the local. I guess.
So, that's just for my own edification and reading. Take the first line, business licenses, 2020 business licenses. After expiration. Is this saying that we're anything that expired between April 30, or just set a retention period of 2 years after expiration? It's just a point in time where everything happens. Or is it?
I'm like, those are just. I have a spreadsheet that.
So previously, this had come up. Box it's made based on, we have a record for
I mean, we can circle public.
it brings up a
We can remove it.
Does anyone have a? I'm just asking.
I think he's asking the broader questions. Care about this. Gotta go forward.
Sure, okay.
You don't have to just. Yeah, I know.
Get more to them.
Okay, so anything else on,
So our report, the highlights, I guess, are some of the ongoing slab work in Camus Cove. To date, close to about 4,300 square yards. As of yesterday. Also, we have performed some drones. Sent that information to James. I'm probably not going. James, if you would. We have a link that shows some of the work being done in Camps Cove with. We also have some later date, some of the other subdivisions that have been completed over the last year. Some drone. My son was out drone. Also of note, we've picked up the traffic counters. Those are being downloaded and worked. Boulevard. preliminary indication is the traffic counts are not as high as we hope. Share that data with you. Counters. Well, they've been pulled, they've already been down for 10 days. We've extracted them and we're downloading the data. Put out 6 counters. Covered. Yeah, it's too late. Yeah, but you know, we had 3 on each end of the boulevard, 1 up at technology and 1 and 3, or 3 down by technology and 3 down by. That data will be extrapolated and we'll move forward with trying to get it reclassified, and we'll certainly share the data with. That's all I have unless there's questions.
Oh, I do have a question. Canvas Cove. How long?
Well, some of the slabs have already been driven on because of flipping, doing other sides of the streets. Slabs that were poured in 10, 9, and 7 days. Cure and a half, they've have started doing opposites. We never do both sides of the street, obviously.
Yeah, a couple. Can you explain what? And the examples. Let's test them.
And it's a compressive strength test. While the truck is there, there's a wheelbarrow. We just did one another test today, yesterday, etc. They take a load of a half a wheelbarrow. Testing agency, independent testing agency, hired by us. TSI is the company. They pull out and do what's called a slump test, which is how much slump is down. Slump test, and they do what's called air and train. Air active. That's the strength. That's done at that time by the test. The next cylinders taken. They'll break a cylinder 7 days, 14 days, and 28. Make sure it's achieving the 4,000 pounds per strength that ultimately is required. Most of the time, get at least 3,500 by 7 days. Have been good. Following spring. 1,000 achieving.
And how often would be the trips?
Well, I mean, again, we've been doing one set of tests per day. Again, the mix design is there. What it is just to ensure that you're making sure everything. We tested every truck all day. Test costs would exceed the road. So it's more of a quality assurance testing for it, and basically it's a check. It's kind of like an audit. Not, well, so, you know, we're not going through every single record, but we do enough records to make sure there's no.
And
It's usually at minimum every other day. This last week we did 3 tests. Yes, 3 years.
within this program.
Yeah, I would say the answer to that is no. Most of them just squeaked over the 4,000 PSI. But most of them are in that 4,100, 42 pounds per. We monitor it. So my son, one of our engineers, he checks those and calls me if he sees a flag. None of the test results are back yet because we just started last week. But if anything's flagged, believe me, at the contract. Did have a couple that started getting closer to 4,000 last year. And we did let M&H know that it's a little too close for comfort. They did pass, but they were a little too close for comfort and did let them know and they did.
So. One thing,
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I checked.
Which we pay into. We should be getting the same mix. What would change? What would engage everybody else? What would the? Small issue. Too much water on it.
Well, water is one thing, but then there's super plasticizers that make it flow that affect the strength. There's a lot of variations that affect the strength, air conduction. You know, it's just a check and a monitor. Yes, the mix is not supposed, the mix design is not supposed to change. That doesn't mean they don't do it at the plant differently by somebody hitting the wrong valve on occasion. Now, it's not real common, but it's pretty rare actually when the wrong mix gets put in the film. Pretty uncommon, but I'm not saying it couldn't happen. That's why we do these periodic tests.
It's important for everybody to know that we do have something to plant chicken. We know.
Yeah, so MoDOT also certifies the plants that produce the mix, both asphalt and concrete. It's not just us, Garden Prairie, on the line. There's MoDOT certification in this plan.
My last question, that, are you guys monitoring it all? Mr. President? No. What are the expectations?
Well, we ask about it, we talk to the contractor about it, we try to monitor as much as we can with the cleanup, but we're not being paid to be there all day, every day, because that would be very expensive. I think there are times it has suffered. My biggest concern is, and it's something that I stay on about, is the cleanup. I know they're communicating with the people. They mostly appear to be communicating with the people that are going to be out of the grounds. Plus, most people see the train coming down the tracks, and it's pretty obvious that the drive. It's been going pretty well, at least my observation. Obviously, we did have an incident. There's a photo of it on the report yesterday. It's been rectified. The resident went around the trucks. There was some patients going on, and she hit a fire hydrant. Again, we made a mistake. I was there. I happened to be there observing. And it's been resolved. She was very upset and she was crying, and James was there too.
Well,
I called James.
But I think the Alderman's question is, as far as communication. Tell us. I'm making really funding that, not really the precise. That being said, we ask them to let us know. We can also on social media. Communication between Terry, Tom, and Church, and the office, Tom, Phil, myself, and as soon as we become going to see information, push it out in social media. We'll be talking about budget for next year. System or some president communications. That right now is.
Yeah, and just a last comment, I don't mean to be responsive, but the reason that what prompted that was more when someone won't have access to their driveway, how long is they supposed to be, they're supposed to be giving you notice that they won't. Like cul-de-sac this last week, told at 4:30 on Monday that it was starting at 7 a.m. the next day. And there was one resident who was out of town during that time. They had somebody who could come and take the key, they could take care of it. But because it was done at 4:30 on Monday, they weren't available to move that fast and their car's still stuck and they came, almost a week later. So giving more than 12 hours notice that they don't have access to their house.
I understand,
Way to remedy that.
and I'm sure that's occurred. Are you in the cul-de-sac where we took the full cul-de-sac on both one? Today, we just poured the other side of it.
Then for the other side. So
Okay,
not
so
big
you're
works,
in a
but-
different cul-de-sac.
Yeah, but it did, the two on the right hand side of the cul-de-sac at the very end, they're both unable to get the driveway.
By our spec, it should be.
So in an emergency, I would tell people, if you talk to them, have them drive on the grass, to get around it as far as they need.
Up to the fire.
But you,
Except for please avoid the fire hydrants and falling into an inlet or a sewer, but in emergency, have them talk to their neighbor, ask them if they can just drive, because if it's relatively dry and they haven't overwatered, most people do, but the tire tracks go pretty simple.
in an emergency, I don't think people are gonna worry too much about it.
No.
But yeah, well, let's have some further conversation about that.
Yeah, but if those particular people still only got, just have them drive around, or whatever, 2 yards or whatever. In the situation.
Thanks.
Communications. I have nothing. Peter Alderman. I just want to say to you. I'm with you. Had conversation. Box and get pictures. Obviously, it's slab on the back. Something. that How those mailboxes are put in, no foundation. Ground cells, leaving that frame, plus pictures of how many children they can. No issue, but typically when, in his case, they have the foundation of their head that they put the box right up against it. The other ones have a good 6 inches. Soil. That soil's. And so anyway, in our estimation, both sides of the street looked at it, no indications. Want to see. Let's show you, let's read.
what it does, drive away to carport. The whole Front Street. My carport is broken all the way across, or my drive up. Class, my garage, that used to be. But all the way across. So,
Get straight to it. Guy has a broken widget. A widget that thinks the city should repair. Calls the city. We say, yeah, we'll log that, we'll come out and repair. That was in September of 2022. You're telling me you went out there today, this is October of 23. There's been X numbers of times that he's been told something's gonna happen.
he mentioned that,
And
and said Ed supposedly said that. Only person that specifically said probably something should be done was Jim. I called Ed today and Ed said he never submitted an order. Because in his estimation, he said it.
I understand he said that, but he didn't communicate that to the residents.
Well, we communicate.
A year later. In September,
Because it came forward to be. Because it was really, got a work order in right now. Okay. My question, want to get into the or it doesn't,
no.
based on,
And I agree 100%. I'm saying how it was handled. Forget about street creep.
I
Say it's something
apologize.
It's been over a year that we've known about. Yeah, and we had a city representative say it could be fixed. Well, you can smirk, John, all you
I'm
want.
saying the city.
If I ran my business like that, I'd have been out of business.
City
Okay.
representative I talked to today, and it said. Not specifically say it.
When was the work order put in? I think that's the crux of this. The amount of time it costs this.
Right now, the work order was put in on 9/18.
So 22.
I think,
20.
I think the crux of this all comes down to how the communication was with the resident and one of our, the city official doesn't even do this. I don't know how it got to him. There's no record of it ever getting to him, an email, a message, to me, logging by this employee. That was an issue, not even a complaint system or work order system, or St. Charles County's work order system. And then 8 months, 9 months after that, we got an angry, to a new city employee. It's actually on points we had at the time. Has a different, story than the resident has about how that's addressed going to be just going forward. So this includes conflicting source, but the first one we actually have a log of it. The site.
We say release.
But to the next point, that employee helped with that to St. Louis, however, he also claims that whether he communicated properly or not to commit to having this fixed is actually. It's all hinges back on previous section conversation happened with him, which is been down which was for us, we have to follow up on something that's been documented. Probably been adamant about making sure that things are logged and documented. Hard for oversight, either myself, supervise everybody else to do such oversight, but we don't mandate it is today. That's been pressed upon all of our staff to make sure that we're logging this. All the else. That does have an extended period of time. But the other part of that, I think, is we want to start communicating the status of these things, which also goes back to updating the new folklore slash, citizen response. Have responses, all of those, some of which will be automated, but I'm sure that that's happening. The current tool is. He's not permanently going along. They could have done or not done. There's no- Future systems will have that.
Hey, motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second.
Second, in favor? Work session is adjourned. Take 5 minutes and start our regular.
Is it Kelpo?
How you doing? I got your point. All right, yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
Two. You got two here, Lonnie? Should we be prepared? Normally we have one. You guys do something. Okay.
I think not until.
If you kind of like sure. You're the one.
I don't know. We are going for a little bit longer time. You know, we're gonna go with a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's the one, right? Yeah. That would be two, so that'd be good. Well, just say. Is an issue.
Okay.
Apparently we can. Where is it? Harmony.
Yeah.
Harmony is the HRA version, right here.
Whose point is that?
But.
Well, the companies, but we do that after all of our quad.
You're not smart enough to operate.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm smart enough, I just don't want to take the time to. But yeah, Brendan does one of his job or duties is he'll do a recap of the job after and goes around. Kind of and we give those to the city kind of, so they can put it on the website, things like that. And I just want to show you the drone. Well, you probably want my 70 operators.
The town I've been told. Even before the next debate. But 24 hours, they could be crossing it. Going their job.
It's not the end of the world.
They're not until you're driving, you know, you're just going over and
That's right. It's not. That wasn't 25. 3,000. Don't take not too long to go. 3,000 feet of stop time. The only thing. Now, special. Ones. So, you know, yes, they can be. 2 days later, preferably 3 days. But we just don't want trash trucks driving on it, and the concrete company doesn't want to, because they've got to use the other side to pour concrete. And you're not going to wait 28 days to do that because you never get anything done.
Right.
So they usually wait about 6 to 7 days. before they flip it over.
This is. That's terrible.
Yeah. Another one. This might even be your cul-de-sac. Oh,
This one is.
no,
This
here,
is- there you
wait,
go.
move it over.
That is, the other end of the banjo.
Yeah, they do just one side and
Yeah.
then you can see the other.
Yeah, so there was one, the day that they poured it, someone took a picture of one of the slabs, little size children's nines. The whole way down.
Nice.
That'll be there. Wow.
Yeah. So here's their breaker.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Good feeling.
Yeah, you can feel that. And there you actually see it going up and down in the shade, shadow. And there's their excavator. See, this is the hard part is they can't load these trucks. They have to block traffic.
Yeah, it is one of those things. It's not gonna get fixed unless you crack up legs.
So then up here, this is the hole ready to be poured.
Oh, you're right.
Those are holes that are ready. So you can see even the dowel bars that are already in there. That's what I took.
Yeah.
It's good. So we saw the break, excavate, and now you're gonna see the all on this is great.
Let's call the regular session into order.
By Fonzie. The first total.
Tom, would you please, let's wait till after the meeting, maybe?
My fault.
Need to get moving.
My fault, I was distracted.
Okay, the first order of business,